everyone. Thanks so much for joining. I'm going to give people a few more minutes to pop in here, just probably a minute or two, and then we'll get started on tonight's webinar. Probably just another 30 more seconds, and then we'll get started here. Okay, so great. Well, thank you all for joining me tonight for your recruiting roadmap, checking in on your recruiting process. My name is Mia Hall. I'm a customer success manager here at SportsRecruits. A little background on me. I played lacrosse collegiately at Millersville University, and I was a Division II women's lacrosse head coach for over 10 years. I also run a lacrosse club in my area, and I'm excited to be with you guys tonight to go through this webinar. So tonight we'll be talking about the steps that you'll be taking in the recruiting process. First, we are going to discuss how to build your target list of schools, making sure that you have a robust list, and then we'll talk about the importance of messaging, what you should be saying to college coaches and when. Then we'll jump into the importance of video in your recruiting process, and then what type of video college coaches are looking to see, and then also how to create an effective video. And then from there, we're going to discuss how you can use your advocates during your recruiting process. And then at the end, I'll break down the different types of events, and then how to navigate campus visits. Okay, so first thing we're going to jump into here is building your target list of schools. Okay, so when building your target list of schools, it's going to be important to think, not only is this school a great athletic fit for you, but also, if these other 5 categories that you see on this slide here are also good fits for you. So the academic fit is important, the athletic fit is important, the geographic fit, the social fit, and the financial fit. Those 5 things are going to be what you should be keeping in mind while you're going through your target list of schools. When thinking about the academic fit questions that you should be asking yourself, does this school have the major that I'm interested in? That should be like number 1 thing that you're looking at. If you're sitting here and you're thinking, I'm a freshman, I have no idea, or I'm going to be a freshman, I have no idea what I want to major in, that's totally fine. I think that's super normal. You definitely want to make sure that when you're building out these lists with your target schools, that they have a variety of majors that you think that you may be interested in. So that's a great place to start. The next thing with athletic fit, I think, thinking about if there's a certain division that you want to play. Do you want to play for a program where you may sit the bench for a few years? Do you want to, go to a program that you're going to make an impact for right away? So those are the types of athletic fit questions that you should be asking when you're building out those school lists. Geographically, this is another important aspect when you're building out your list, thinking about, do I want to go and, play somewhere where it's hot or cold? Do I want to be somewhere that's close to home, far away? I think all great, things to consider when you are building out that list, things that you should be asking yourself. The next thing for sure is the financial fit. This is different for every family. So it's something that you want to start thinking about when you are narrowing down that list. Another one that I missed is that social aspect. I just wanted to, hit upon that before we move on. You want to see if, that school has, if maybe Greek life is important to you. So, looking at each school and seeing, is that something that they offer within that program, or that school is, this school, does it look like it's a, commuter school? There's a lot of kids going home on the weekends. What's the social scene look like? That's another important aspect that you should be looking at when you are building out that list. I think when you're, going through the schools, if you are able to check off 4 of 5 of these categories, then you've probably found the right fit for you, and you should be adding that school to your list. We always tell student athletes, when you're building your list, you want to make sure that you have 25 to 30 schools, and that you're casting a wide net. Doing a good amount of research is going to be, key when you are building out those schools. So yeah, that is that slide. Next slide, we just talked about how we can build out those schools and the research that you can be doing. The school search tool that we have on the platform is an amazing resource for you as a student athlete. So this is a huge search engine of all the schools across the country that offer the sport that you are looking to play. So here is where you can filter, based off of those categories that we just talked about. You can filter based off of location after you kind of figure out, do I want to stay close to home, go far away? You can filter based off of, the academic needs that you're looking at. Do they have the major that you want? You can also filter based off of the division that you want to play, or that you're thinking about. So you can really narrow down the amount of schools in our database based off of your personal needs, off of those categories that we just talked about. So definitely utilize the school search tool. I tell my student athletes that I have on my platform within my club to utilize this so much throughout the process to really help build out those 25 to 30 schools. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is messaging college coaches. So when you're messaging college coaches, the first email that you send to them should be an introduction email. Here is where you'll let coaches know like the basic information about who you are and why you're interested in that school. Make sure that when you're sending out these intro emails, that you are being specific about why you're interested in that school or their program. Coaches for sure. And I talked about this a little bit, but I was a college coach for 10 years. We know when we're just getting blanketed emails that are just like copy pasted in the same template. So make sure when you're sending out those intro emails that you are doing your research and that you can insert, facts about why specifically you are interested in that school and that program. I think it goes a huge way and a long way, and it definitely keeps you on a college coach's radar versus, kids that are just sending out blanketed template emails. It doesn't, I think, doesn't need to be a huge paragraph about why you're interested. It could be a sentence or two, but just really showing that you've done your research, you have those facts in there, goes a long way. I also think it's important that, when you're attending events, that you're also letting college coaches know that you're going to be there. So, 5 to, maybe 7 days before an event is supposed to take place, definitely getting out another email to those college programs that you're interested in, letting them know, your schedule, the jersey number that you're going to be wearing. I think that also goes a long way in, continuing to make sure that you stay on a college coach's radar. Give them all the information that they're going to need to be able to, find you at that event and evaluate you as well. Then post-event is also a great way to stay on a coach's radar. Definitely sending out emails, especially if you've attended a prospect clinic for them, thanking them for their time, thanking them for, the advice or, the tips that they gave you during that clinic. Referencing anything that you may have learned, I think is also a great thing to put in these emails when you're sending these post-event emails. In those post-event emails as well, just also giving any of the college coaches like a general update about what you have coming up, or if you're going to be attending another showcase, or you have you're taking the SATs, anything that you can continue to give the college coaches as far as new information is going to be important in those post-event emails as well. So that is, some tidbits about what you should say to these college coaches when you are sending these messages. On the platform, the messaging system is such a great feature for you guys to be using. Make sure that when you are sending out emails, that you are reaching out to all the college coaches that are populating within that to section. The reason being is you want to make sure, you never know which coach is maybe in charge of the recruiting process. So making sure that you're selecting all college coaches that are populating within the messaging system is going to be really important. You want to make sure that your information, your email is getting into as many screens as possible within that program. And the messaging system is such an easy way to do that. It's such a time saver because you no longer have to, look for email addresses with all these college coaches. It's all within our platform. Also, when you're sending out messages through the messaging system on the platform, every time you send a message, your specific SportRecruit link to your profile is automatically getting embedded in every single message that you send. So when a college coach opens up your email, they can simply just click that link and it's going to take them directly to your profile. The other great thing about that is when they click on your profile, that's also going to alert you in real time that a college coach and that program is viewing your account. So it really gives you a lot of transparency in the process. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is making sure that, you are using your activity feed. That's such a great way for you to get a snapshot of all the college coach activity that is going on within your profile. So within your activity feed, you're going to be able to see your views. And that goes from, not just only your profile views, but your video views. If you have transcripts uploaded onto your profile, you'll be able to see if college coaches are checking out your transcripts. So again, so much transparency you are able to have, making sure, you have all that stuff uploaded onto your profile, but you're able to see when college coaches are coming and what type of activity they are having within your profile. So I think that's such a great resource for you. The other thing too is from your activity feed, you can directly message a college program based on the activity that you see. So there's a little paper airplane icon in the activity feed where you can click on that and it will easily open up the messaging system, automatically populate those college coach emails, and you'll be able to quickly send out a message as well. So just a little tip, a shortcut, if you will, that you can get to the messaging system through the activity feed. Okay, great. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is video in the recruiting process. Visible profile videos are extremely important to make sure that you have up on your account, because college coaches can't be everywhere all the time. Highlight reels that you have are essentially like the trailer to the movie that is your athletic ability, right? Having a strong highlight video uploaded and visible on your account ultimately, can get you on a college coach radar. So it's really important that you have, highlight videos on your account, and also skills video. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next slide. So What I want you guys to know is that on the platform, you should think also about having highlight reels and skills videos visible to college coaches. All athletes on the platform have access to our free highlight reel editor. When you're going through your videos and you're creating reels, another thing that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is that, athletes, you guys should be the ones going through your videos and creating and selecting the skills to put in your highlight reel. It shouldn't just be parents. I also think, when you're creating these highlight reels or skills videos, you want to be putting plays in your highlight reel that are your 4-star or your 5-star plays, so your best plays. I also think, when you're selecting and you're creating your highlight reel, when you're just about to publish, it's a great idea to also always get a second opinion on that highlight reel or that skill video that you're creating within the highlight reel editor. So, sending it out to any of your athletic advocates, coaches, or, other people that really understand your athletic ability, just so that they can do a quick preview and give you their opinion on it to see if maybe you've missed anything, or that, make sure that you are highlighting, your best of your athletic ability within that reel that you are creating on the platform. So again, definitely, reach out to these coaches, these athletic advocates, make sure, you are tweaking anything that you need to make sure that you are publishing the best highlight reel or skills video for these college coaches to be viewing. And then the last bit of advice that I want to give you guys, 2 more things, is, when you're creating a highlight reel or even a skills video, keep it short and sweet, 3 to 4 minutes max. You definitely also don't want to make sure, don't save your best clips in your highlight reel for last. You want to make an impact right away. So make sure your best plays are at the very beginning of that highlight reel or skills video. I touched upon a little bit, but whether you have a free account or a pro account, you have access to our free highlight reel editor on the platform. So again, this is where you're going to be able to easily take any of the uploaded videos that you have on your account and clip them out to create these highlight reels or these skills videos. Sorry about that, for these college coaches to see. Okay, so the next slide that I would like to talk about is using your advocates. So when you're navigating through the recruiting process, it's going to be really important for you to lean on advocates that are both athletic advocates, but also academic advocates as well. Your athletic advocates are going to be a great resource to make sure that you're on the right track, especially when you're building out any of your target lists of schools. So, you can even have conversations with them to see if the schools that are on your list are, a safety school or a reach school or a fit school for you. So I think you can have very meaningful conversations with your athletic advocates about the type of schools that are on your list. I also think it's important that you should share that list with these advocates early, because again, maybe your athletic advocates know someone on staff there and can also, reach out to that program on your behalf as you go through the process. So sharing that list early with your athletic advocates is really important. For any academic advocates, guidance counselors, so for any academic advocates, so that's like guidance counselors, teachers, I think, making sure that they know what your list is as well, I think is important, because they'll also be able to see if academically that's going to be a good fit for you, or if it's a safety school or a reach school as well. So definitely utilizing both athletic and academic advocates through the process is really, really crucial. Okay, so this next slide, we're going to talk about in-person evaluations. So camps, clinics, prospect days, and the differences. Looking at this slide here, you'll see you have prospect days, camps and clinics, showcases, tournaments. prospect days are usually, again, one-day events hosted by one school. Costs definitely depends on the popularity of the program. Most prospect days will be heavy evaluation with some education. You'll be working with staff, current players. So you'll definitely be getting in front of, the right people there, but it also is a great chance for you to, again, improve your skills. You definitely should attend prospect days of schools that you've had a lot of contact with that are definitely on your list, maybe in your top 5. It can be, I think, such a great way for you to really, make an impact with the schools that are in your top 5. Camps and clinics are another great way to develop your skills. With a camp and clinic, it's going to be very heavy in education, with a very small percentage of evaluation. You'll be playing in front of, staff, but I think, these are, anywhere from 1 to 3 days. So, you're going to be getting a lot of education in those 3 days, a lot of skill development. And there probably is going to be a lot of kids attending those camps and clinics. So the evaluation piece is a little bit less during camps and clinics. Cost of these is going to depend on, again, how popular and how long. So how popular the program is and how long the camp or the clinic is. I think you should definitely be attending camps and clinics, again, of schools that you're interested in, but also, going to camps and clinics where you know that you're going to get a lot of great education to help develop your skills. And then showcases, they're going to be, great for you guys to attend to get exposure to maybe several programs that are probably there. So some showcases have up to 100 coaches, depending on how popular it is. So these are great events to attend throughout the recruiting process to gain exposure from a lot of different programs. I think, with showcases, there is a lot of evaluation going on, maybe a small percentage of education and skill development, but still just another great event that you can participate in throughout your recruiting process. And then finally, tournaments. This is something that you'll attend throughout the recruiting process, usually through, your clubs or sometimes even your high school programs. But this is going to be very heavy with evaluations. There's going to be, coaches on the sidelines, and these tournaments can be anywhere from 1 to 3 days. A lot of times, your club, if you're playing for a club, this is included in your dues. So this isn't an extra cost that you guys are incurring. And now let's talk about campus visits. So, visiting campuses is going to be very, very important when you start to really narrow down your list. Here you'll be able to identify, what you like about a school, what you dislike about a school based off of these, campus visits that you're going on. Whether it's a campus tour, an official visit, or you're just walking around, definitely make sure that when you get on a campus that you have some questions prepared, especially if you're not sure if you're going to get in front of a college coach at that program or not. The questions that you have prepared should be ones that can only be answered by someone who, goes to the school or, something very specific. It shouldn't be, questions that you have that you could easily have found by looking up information online. So like questions like, especially if you're getting in front of a college coach, like what is your team culture like? Or what is, who's your biggest rival? Those are type of questions that you wouldn't be able to necessarily look up online and find the answer. So having those type of prepared questions are going to be key when you are going on campus visits. If you are getting in front of college coaches or even, admissions, definitely make sure while you're there, you are taking notes. I think while, you're there, if you're taking notes later on, because there's so much information that you're going to be receiving, being able to then look back and see what you wrote in there, and making, a pros and cons list based off of those notes is going to be really crucial. So definitely take notes about your impression, your feel on the campus, and also like what you thought about the student body. I think all great things to definitely highlight while you're there. So just to kind of recap, tonight, we talked about how many schools you should have when you're building out your target list of schools, how you should be messaging college coaches, what you should be saying, the importance of video within the recruiting process, having highlight reels and also skills videos, and how you can accomplish making those on the platform. Definitely, we then talked about, using your advocates, reaching out not only to athletic advocates, but also your academic advocates as well is going to be important. We talked about the in-person evaluations, and camps, clinics, prospect days, and then campus visits. I think while you're going through this process, it's really going to be important too to make sure throughout everything that you are, keeping your grades up as well. That's also going to be super important. You can do all the research in the world and really focus in on your academic or your athletic ones, but making sure that academically you're keeping up and making sure that you are putting out your best grades possible while you're going through the process is going to be key as well. So we've talked a lot, we've recapped everything. I'm going to open it up for any questions that you guys have, since we have a little bit of time left. Okay. So if you have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat. I'll take a look at, we have some already here. Somebody wrote in, when should you begin reaching out to college coaches? What year of high school? That's a great question. Division 1, 2, and 3, they all have different roles as far as, when they can contact you back. But I think, it's very important that you are reaching out on your, early introducing yourself. I think no matter if you're, looking at Division 1 schools or Division 3 schools, I think beginning of your sophomore year is when you really should be sending out those intro emails. When you're, you've, narrowed down your list. Just know that depending on the division, they may not be able to contact you back, those college coaches, because of their NCAA recruiting, guidelines. So I think sophomore year is a great place to start to reach out to college coaches. In regards to uploading videos, is it good to show a video of where I was and where I am now, showing our growth? That's a great question. I think, on the platform, you're able to always select a video that is your featured video. So your featured video is going to be the video that automatically populates close to your profile picture. And that featured video should be your newest or your best highlight reel or skills video. But I do think that it is, important that you can show your growth as a former college coach. I would say, like, sure, having a video, maybe not your featured video if it's a video from like 6 months to a year ago, but having that video up there, if it is a strong video with good skills, I think is important to be able to show that growth. But not necessary, but I think it's always a good thing to have. I think we have a couple more minutes to answer some questions. These are great ones. Can you explain what should be included in a skills video versus a highlight video? So skills videos, I think, for sports like baseball, softball, you could have a skills video for, some of our, lacrosse. But skills video should be especially showcasing one of the skills that you're having. So if it's batting practice for softball or baseball, or for lacrosse, maybe it's like a wall ball routine, or, you shooting on a shooting net. I think that's what is included in a skills video versus, a highlight reel is going to be from actual game footage where they can see like conceptually what's going on. So that would be the difference of a skills video versus a highlight video. Highlight reels are coming mostly from like games, where skills, they're just focusing on one particular thing. Referencing sending emails, after sending an intro email, should each subsequent email include a reintroduction of yourself? That's a great question. You don't have to. Once you've sent an intro email out, you don't need to keep reintroducing yourself. I think, we always get asked, once I send an intro email, like how long should I wait until I send another email out? The rule of thumb is anytime that you have new information that you can send to a college program after you've made that intro email, that's when you want to be, sending an email. So, whether it's you've been voted first team all state, or you have an upcoming tournament, after you've made that intro email, like that's when you should be reaching out again. I think, when you are sending out emails about upcoming tournaments, you can say again, like, I play for this club, this is my number, but you don't have to go through the whole entire introduction every single time you're sending an email to these college coaches. And then also when sending emails prior to a specific event, should you only send emails to coaches that are listed as attending? That's a great question too. I think no, you shouldn't just be sending, emails to the college coaches that say that they're going to be attending. A lot of those lists that are on like websites may not be as up to date as you think. You could have college coaches that maybe attend last minute. So making sure that you're emailing coaches that are on your favorites list, whether they're going to be at that event or not, just letting them know where you're going to be is going to be very important as you are getting into your, tournament season. It's a great question. Do you have any advice for narrowing down the right showcases and tournaments? This really goes back to, your favorites list, right? I think if you have schools within your top maybe 7 to 10 schools, those are the schools that you should be honing in on to get to, showcases that maybe they're going to be attending, or like camps and clinics that they are going to be offering. I think when it comes to, narrowing down the right showcases and tournaments when you're with a club, that's very much on the club director, when they're deciding, where you guys are going to be attending. A lot of times with showcases and tournaments, those events, they have to register like a year in advance. So really, I think if that is a question that you have to make sure you're getting to the right tournaments, going back to your club director and asking them those questions is probably best. Okay, I think I have time for one more question here. Is there a difference in the way you should communicate with D1 versus D3 coaches? Great question. There's not a difference in the way that you should communicate with a D1 or a D3 coach. You just have to understand that there are different NCAA regulations on when they can contact you back. So just know, like a Division III coach, they don't have any regulation as far as when they can contact you back, versus like a D1, depending on the sport you play. It could be June 15th of your junior year, or it could be September 1st, depending on the sport. So just know that there may be a waiting period in between when you hear back from those college coaches. You guys had great questions. Thank you so much. So that's all I have time for tonight. Again, I really appreciate you being here with me on this webinar. if you have any questions that maybe I didn't get a chance to answer, you can always email us at help@sportsrecruits.com. We'll be able to answer those questions for you there. If you want to go back and watch this webinar later, please know that this was recorded, so you'll be receiving a copy of this email within 24 hours after this has taken place. But again, thank you so much for being here with me tonight, and we hope to see you on some of our upcoming webinars in the future. Take care.